We've talked about it quite a bit on this channel. The Cowboys traded for George Pickens, and I've been seeing all these graphics about the best wide receiver duos in the league. Lamb and Pickens are up there. You have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. So many of these wide receiver duos that people are super excited to see. But I think there's a guy that we're forgetting about on this Cowboys offense, and that is Jake Ferguson, who we're going to talk about in today's video. Let's not waste any more time and get into it. The Cowboys selected Jake Ferguson in the 4th round, 129th overall in the 2022 NFL Draft. In his rookie season behind Dalton Schultz, he played in 16 games. He started 8 of those. He had 19 catches for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. After the Cowboys decided to let go of Dalton Schultz, I made a video, and I'm going to see if I can find it, predicting a Jake Ferguson breakout year. I thought the flashes were there for him as a rookie. In just the 20 targets that he had and the 19 catches that he had, it was a long shot, but I did believe that he could be tight end 1 and actually make an impact, especially if him and Dak could get on the same page. So in 2023, he started all 17 games. He had 71 catches for 761 yards and 5 touchdowns. And then, it might not matter to you guys, but in a blowout loss to the Packers, he had 10 catches for 93 yards and 3 touchdowns. Do those really matter? How do you factor in garbage time? You guys can argue about it down below in the comments. But Ferguson did end up becoming a Pro Bowler in 2023. So going into 2024, I was really excited about seeing him potentially take another step, especially with Dallas kind of neglecting the wide receiver position a little bit, neglecting their offensive weapons. I thought that if Ferguson was going to have an insanely productive year, it was going to come in 2024. But in week 1, he had a knee injury against the Cleveland Browns. Definitely slowed him down. And then later in the year, obviously Dak Prescott got hurt. Then Jake Ferguson started having issues with a concussion, missed a couple games there. So he ended up playing in 14 games where he had 59 catches for just 494 yards. And the real kicker, no touchdowns. So after a year like that, I think a lot of people are not down and out on Ferguson, but they're not really sure how to project him. And I think the nuance, the conversation around his 2024 season is a lot more complex. Like when you take in the context of what happened with the starting quarterback, the knee injury in week 1, and then you turn around and have a concussion later in the year, and there's a completely lost season. I think people are a little forgetful, but here's the thing, guys. I think in 2025, coming back healthy, obviously out of the concussion stuff, I think Ferguson is going to have a great year, and I have reasons why I think that. Number 1 is the health. 2025, he should be fully healthy. Lunda Wells, the Cowboys tight end coach, talked about the importance of Ferguson, taking care of his body, preparing for this upcoming season. I think we're going to see a healthier version. I think that makes a big, big difference for how he moves, his ability, run after catch stuff, but just being healthy goes a long way in a guy's performance. And then number 2 is offensive scheme. Now, this one is obviously going to center more around the new offensive look that we don't really know yet. Of course, Brian Schottenheimer being the new play caller, really getting to do offensive coordinator things that I don't think he got to do under Mike McCarthy. But the one thing that I really like about Schotty is, 1, who he hired on his staff, Clayton Adams, Connor Riley. I think the offense just overall is going to be better. But another thing is the amount of time that he had to sit back and watch all of these guys work. Talk to them about what they do and don't like on offense, what they're good at, what they're not good at, while Mike McCarthy handled being the head coach and the play caller. I have to imagine that he has a plan for Jake Ferguson. So with Schottenheimer as the head coach and then Clayton Adams, the offensive coordinator, the Cowboys are going to focus on being more physical, more aggressive schematically. They're going to try to marry the pass game with the run game, get this team actually using play action to their advantage, especially in the red zone on those bootleg plays that worked so well in 2022 and 2023. And then I think having Pickens and Lamb on the outside in short yardage situations in the red zone are going to help a ton. Also, just having Dak Prescott back, someone that can actually rip it over the middle. Cooper Rush rarely ever tried to throw the ball down the seam, and that's where Ferguson and a lot of Cowboys tight ends have made their money with Dak over the years. So having a scheme that actually helps your receiving threats, the quarterback being back and healthy for the season, is certainly going to make a difference. So number 3 is the new look receiving core. I just talked about it briefly, how it helps not only in the red zone, but it's also going to help all over the field. You look at the work that Dallas did with the George Pickens trade. They got a legit number 2 weapon. As much as I love Brandon Cooks, Dallas did not have enough firepower on offense last year. So that kind of forced Ferguson to be that second option. Now, he's not going to have to be that second option, and it probably suits him the best. Like I said, I'm a Ferguson believer. I think he's awesome. I don't think we've seen even the best of him yet, though. I think there's still room for statistic growth and just overall more efficiency. So with Ferguson getting to be that third option, that really has a chance to make a difference in the red zone. Like I said, big plays up the seam. Dak loves to throw it. But you just add in the threat of George Pickens as, I think, being that third option, he really has a chance to make a difference in the red zone. Like I said, those big plays up the seam. And just George Pickens' ability as a deep ball receiver, probably going to make those safeties cheat Pickens' way a little bit on a deep drop back. And then Ferguson just really needs to win on his route down the seam. You have a huge hole in the middle of the field, and we're starting to see those big plays that we didn't get to see in 2024. Just with the overall receiving core, he's in a much, much better position because of the weapons that Dallas has, and of course, just the quarterback being healthy for 2025. But one thing that we really tend to overlook with these guys is they're humans, right? They like money. We all like money. They like to make money, and they like to get a guaranteed check every single year. And I think with Ferguson, somehow going into a contract year already, kind of seems like he just got to the Cowboys. Honestly, I have no idea how this is year 4, but being in a contract year, having that little extra motivation is something that we really can't ignore. 2025 is going to be a big season for him to showcase his value to not only the Cowboys, but other teams around the league as well. And this is kind of the gamble, right? When you talk about giving guys money early. I'm kind of conflicted on the Jake Ferguson contract. So I'm going to lay it out like this. What happens if Dallas pays him a pretty modest amount? Ferguson gives them a little deal, a little hometown discount, but then he doesn't play well. It's another down year. 2024 was just foreshadowing what's going to happen over the next 2 or 3 years, right? Then what? We've seen that happen with guys. Pay somebody, they have injuries here and there, but they come back and they're just not the same player. But we've also seen this Cowboys team hold out, not pay these guys, not pay these middle tier players, and then they go out and have a great season. Then what? Dallas isn't going to pay him. They're going to leave on the open market, and you're without a tight end, and you're relying on Luke Schoonmaker and undrafted free agent and Brevin Spanford. It's really, really tricky because if he goes out there and has the year that I think he will, he's going to be expensive, and Dallas is probably going to be looking for a tight end in 2026 and beyond. So it's a risk, but I do have faith that Brian Schottenheimer, Clayton Adams, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak Prescott, all of those guys are going to help Ferguson get back on track. And if that happens, this offense is going to be really, really hard to stop in 2025. So that's what I wanted to talk about in today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.